Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a new video, and today's newer video is going to be kind of different, but I will be going over my personal favorite Star Wars movies ranked. So we're going to count all 11 at the time, of this recording. And before I get any farther into this video, I'd like to say these are all my personal opinions. Like, a couple of these, like, usually would be ranked really high, are going to be ranked lower just because, to me, they're kind of boring. Just, like, it's not really, like, much to it to me. I don't know. A lot of it's also nostalgia. Like, there's going to be some movies in this that should be ranked, and honestly should be ranked lower, that are going to be ranked higher because of nostalgia. Like, I was born in 2002, so you already know the prequels are, like, I fucking love the prequels. I love the prequels. I think, honestly, they're as good as the originals. Maybe even better, but that's just my opinion. Yeah, so I've been meaning to make this video for a while. I just haven't had, like, really the time or really to. But anyways, yeah. So here it is. We will start off with number 11. Now, I am including the originals, the prequels, the sequels, and the two standalone, Solo and Rogue One. I won't be including the Star Wars, the Clone Wars movie, or the TV show, obviously. But if I were to include the movie, the Star Wars, the Clone Wars movie, it'd probably be at number 12 because the movie's shit, but the TV series is fucking amazing. So let's just get into number 11. So, in that number 11, we have The Last Jedi. So, this movie's terrible. Like, I'm sorry, but if you, like, have this not in the top 3 worst Star Wars movies, I don't know where you have it, because I know this is all my opinion, but this movie is terrible. So, first of all, I guess we'll start off with the plot. It's all over the place. I just don't understand, like, how you can take a character like Luke Skywalker, who looks at Darth Vader when he's in his 20s, and see good in that man. Darth Vader, you can see good in Darth Vader, the most feared man in the galaxy. But then you see a kid who has potential of being turning to the dark side. Not yet, but he has potential, and you try killing him. And then they just ruin the character of Luke Skywalker, in my opinion, in this movie. Also, Rose Tico, probably arguably one of the most annoying characters out there, and it showed because in The Rise of Skywalker, she was seen in 2 scenes. And I'm not hating on the actor. I kind of feel bad, honestly, for the actor because she got so much hate. And she probably didn't really have control of, like, what she, like, who, like, what her character did and all, but terrible. And finally, we have this fight. This fight's just fucking, oh my god. I just don't get how, literally, you have someone like Rey, who literally has no experience fighting with a sword, and because it's fucking all over the place, and she's able to take on these Emperor's fucking guards. I don't know, it's kind of all over the place. There's a lot of plot holes. There's scenes where Rey and Kylo should have got cut that they didn't, but yeah, we're going on number 10. So, I'm pretty pissed right now because this is my 3rd time recording this, but so I'm going to be very harsh on this film. Fuck The Force Awakens. No, I'm just kidding. But I am actually pretty pissed because this is my 3rd time recording this. The Force Awakens is honestly. I'm just not gonna even sugarcoat it. It's kind of a remake of New Hope. I'm sorry I'm kind of rushing through this, but I'm getting sick and tired of saying the same thing. Yeah, not my favorite film. It's better than The Last Jedi, but all the films above this are better. The sword fight between Rey and Kylo is ridiculous. Kylo Ren should have fucking whooped her ass, but guess what? Apparently I get Rey's related to Palpatine, but that doesn't mean that she doesn't need any type of training to take on someone like Kylo Ren. Like, I don't know. It's always been my opinion. Doesn't mean I dislike the film a bunch, but it's just kind of stupid. It is nice, however, to see people like Han and Chewie back on the big screen, and Leia, obviously. Forgot about Leia. And Luke Skywalker at the end, but we don't get to see him that much. And then there's Sky Killer Base. Just stop with the super weapons. Like, the Death Star 1 and 2 is enough. We don't need a third. I don't know. Yeah, let's get on to number 9. Now, here comes the hate. At number 9, I have A New Hope. Now, please don't hate on me, but I do like this movie. But I just think, in my opinion, that everything above it is better. And it might just have, honestly, something to do with nostalgia. But as a kid, I just didn't find also A New Hope as appealing to me. Like, I don't know what it was with it, but I just didn't find it really interesting. Now that I've grown up, I honestly have more appreciated it more, because Luke Skywalker's like one of my favorite Jedis of all time, and I really appreciate like this being like the beginning of his story. Fight scenes, and there's some pretty good fight scenes. There's the part when they're escaping Tatooine. There's a little fight scene there. Obviously, the final fight scene between the Death Star, that's pretty good. I always like watching that. Very good fight scene. The plot is just kind of simple, and I think it's a very good movie for like kids, honestly, to watch, because the plot's pretty simple. It's not like The Phantom Menace, where it's really confusing. Now, the one thing I do not like about this movie, which ranks it really low, is the sword fight. Now, yeah, I can't really hate on it too much, like what I've said, because this is the first movie in the franchise. They didn't know where they wanted to go with the sword fighting, and they had an older dude sword fighting a dude who's in a full Darth Vader costume. That's why I don't hate on it too much, is because they couldn't really do much, and and it kind of sucks because it's not a good fight. But the way it ends is obviously iconic. Hearing Luke yell no, it's very good. And back to Luke, this shot right here, I fucking love this shot. I don't know why. It just marks the beginning of this journey, and it's fucking amazing. Like I feel like I don't appreciate this movie as much, but A New Hope's a good movie, but just it's not my favorite. So that's number 9, and let's get on to number 8. So in at number 8, we have Solo. Now, to be quite honest, when I saw they were making a younger Solo movie, I was like many of the other people. I was very disappointed that they were making a film about the younger Solo, because I was like, why not just make a movie about Obi-Wan after the events of Order 66, or why not make a Boba Fett movie? And they went with this. And at first I was very mad, but I came out and I was like, well, it's a Star Wars film, so I have to go see it. And surprisingly, I really enjoyed it. Now, the person who plays as Han did a very good job. Like, he really made, like, it was the perfect young Han. Like, my dad is a Star Wars fan, and he grew up always wanting to see like a younger Han, and he said as a kid this film depicted what he always thought younger Han was like, and that's good. Otherwise, I like how they throw in some references about all the movie, like all the past movies. Darth Maul ends up being in the ending, which is really cool. I haven't watched it that many times, to be quite honest. I have watched it enough times to be able to judge it, and it is a good film, though. I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about the Millennium Falcon being like that, like how it was different, but it didn't really bother me that much. What else about this film that really stands out? Oh, Lando. The person that played Lando did probably even a better job than the person played Han. Like, don't get me wrong, the person who played Han did a very good job, but Lando in this film was amazing. Good film. It wasn't that like exciting for action scenes in my opinion, but still a pretty good film. I enjoyed it, and yeah, let's go on to number 7, I believe. I don't know. So in at number 7, we have probably, in my opinion, one of the most underrated Star Wars movies, and that's The Phantom Menace. This movie gets a lot of hate for two reasons, in my opinion. One, Jar Jar Binks, and two, all the politics. First of all, Jar Jar Binks, in my opinion, I've never found as annoying as some people. Some people can't stand him, some people like him. He doesn't really bother me that much, honestly. And then two, the politics, it's needed. It honestly is needed in the Star Wars because we need to know how did Emperor Palpatine come to power, and I think it was a good plan, like how he came to power. Action scenes are amazing in this movie. Battle of Naboo. Oh my god, as a kid, I always wished they would have showed more of the Gungans versus the droids. I always loved that scene. I always thought it was cool. The battle over Naboo, that always I thought was very cool. The pod racing, yeah, could have probably done without that. Not the biggest fan of it. I always thought it was very boring. I get that you need to have a reason to have Anakin earn his way out of slavery and show that he's a very good pilot for the rest of the movie, but just it's so boring. Like I can't. It's so boring. Like I know a lot of people. Also, another reason why people don't like this film, young Anakin. I'm not bothered by him that much, honestly. Young Anakin, I don't find that irritating. And then we get to one of the best sword fights in this film. If we were doing sword fights, like lightsaber fights, this would be much higher. If we were just judging it off that. This, honestly, I'm trying not to give it away, but it's one of the best sword fights in Star Wars history. And I think it'll stay in the top 3 for a very, very long time. If not, always will stay up in the top 3. It's fucking amazing. God, if you haven't watched that fight ever, just fucking stop watching this film. Go watch it. That's number 7. Let's go on to number 6. So in at number 6, we have Attack of the Clones. Probably another very underrated Star Wars film, in my opinion. And like the last one, I feel like in this film, the reason why people hate it so much is the love story between Anakin and Padme. And yeah, there's many points in this movie that Anakin says stuff that just makes me want to just jump off a cliff. But it, in a weird way, I honestly like Padme and Anakin's relationship as much as Han and Leia's. I think it's a good just love story. I don't know. I think there's kind of a couple things that are questionable, but I think it's a good love story. Battle of Geonosis, fucking awesome. I really wish that it would have been longer, and I feel like that's another reason why people don't like this film as much, is because the Battle of Geonosis is such a big event in the Star Wars universe. It starts the Clone Wars, and we get to see maybe 5 minutes of it. Yeah, and we get to see instead like a bunch of time of just Anakin flirting with Padme. I feel like that's a big reason why people don't like this film, and it's understandable, but I still enjoy it. The duel between Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Count Dooku is very boring in my opinion, and it's a slaughter because it's needed though. Count Dooku needs to show that he is much more powerful than these just average Jedi, and then Yoda comes in and Yoda shows that he's pretty badass. And then like one of my favorite scenes of all time. I fucking love the Camino scene when the clones come out and start marching. It still to this day gives me goosebumps. I fucking love it. Like, it's badass, and then the point, magnificent. You just can't go wrong with it. You just can't. It might be just me being biased because I fucking love Clone Troopers, Boba Fett, and Jango Fett, but you just can't go wrong with this scene. Otherwise, movie's not that bad. Let's go on to number 5. So in at number 5, we have Rogue One. This film's liked a lot, I feel like. I feel like a good amount of people, not a good amount, but I feel like the majority of Star Wars fans can all agree that this is a very good film. It's action-packed. It fills probably one of the biggest plot holes in the original 3 movies, and that's why is there a big fucking hole in the Death Star. It patches that up real quick. Jyn Erso is arguably probably the most badass female character in Star Wars history. Honestly, I think she's probably one of my favorites. Yeah, just a good film all around. It's nice. It was cool to see the normal stormtroopers back on the big screen, because this was the first time we'd seen the normal stormtroopers back on the main big screen since Return of the Jedi. So it was just nice to see them all back. Got to see some new walkers. A new trooper type, the Death Trooper. Fucking awesome. They look cool. They sound cool. Just all around cool. What else is there to this film? There's a lot to this film. The story about it's good. It's honestly just a good film, and I think and it's another film, honestly, I haven't watched that much. I haven't watched Solo and Rogue One that much because they're kind of the standalone movies, but doesn't mean it's not a good film. And in this movie, probably one of the most badass Darth Vader scenes. Oh my god, words can't describe. I still remember seeing that, just hearing the siren going off, and then you just hear him breathe, and then his lightsaber ignites. It just gives goosebumps. It's the most badass Darth Vader scene out there. I don't know how you can top this scene. Very good film. Let's get on to number 4. So in at number 4, we have The Rise of Skywalker. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of hate for this. I'm probably just going to get a lot of hate in this video because of some placements of some movies, but I don't care. It's my opinion. This movie is good. Honestly, I was very impressed with it. There's a couple things, honestly, I'd change in it, but you compare this movie to the other 2 sequel movies, and it shows that this is the best one out of the other 2. Let me think here. I've only watched it a couple times, so I'm just kind of trying to remember everything. Kylo Ren's character really, fucking improved. In The Force Awakens, I wasn't sure if I really liked Kylo Ren because he kind of, came across as a baby to me, and, I don't know, I when he took off his mask, I was like, you should just put that thing back on. I'm like, you look like a badass with the mask on. In Last Jedi, he's kind of a badass, and in this film, he kind of just returns back to being just Ben Solo, and his character honestly carried, if in a way, carried the sequels, and I think they ended his character very well. The fight scenes are they're pretty good. I like how at the end they brought in back some classic characters like Wedge Antilles. Very excited when I saw him because he's probably one of my most favorite OG characters. One thing I don't agree with in this film. I don't understand why Rey and Kylo Ren kissed. I don't. And I've said this before, I think what they should have done is they should have just, when Kylo saved her, they should have just looked at each other like, holy shit, we're both alive. And then they should have just hugged. And then the camera should have been on Rey's face, and she's all happy, and then she, slowly, starts pulling Kylo Ren away, and she realizes he's dead. I think that's how it should have ended. But instead, Disney's like, nope, we gotta make these two in love, even though there's never been a love connection between these two. Bullshit! Otherwise, good film. I liked it. It's number 4 for me. Honestly, saved the series big time, especially the ending. Okay, let's get on to number 3. So, gaining the bronze medal in my list is Return of the Jedi. This film, when I was a kid, I didn't enjoy as much. Honestly, it was probably like number 5 for me when I was a kid. And no, when I was a kid, there was only 6 movies, and this would have been like the second worst in my opinion. But yet again, it's one of those films where I really had to grow up and learn more about it to really enjoy it. Like, I didn't know for the longest time that Return of the Jedi in the name isn't Return of the Luke Skywalker. I always thought it was like the return of Luke Skywalker and him like beating Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine. But in reality, it's Return of Anakin Skywalker. And I always thought that was like the coolest little thing in that film. Like, I think that honestly might be the reason why I like this film so much. The fight scenes in this are awesome. I love Jabba's palace. I love the Battle of Endor and the Battle above Endor. Death Star 2 is awesome. Oh, God, it's just awesome. And then let's not forget this badass sword fight. Oh my God, it's such a good fight. Fucking when Luke Skywalker turns to the dark side for a second, starts just swinging away. It really shows that how powerful Luke is, and then he denies being with Emperor Palpatine, and then it's so much, and then Darth Vader just fucking kills Emperor Palpatine. It's just a good plot. It's a good way. It would have been a good way just to end the series, but obviously Disney wanted to continue it. And then just to end the film with the 3 OG Jedi just standing next to each other. You just can't beat it. You just can't. And it kind of makes me sad that they didn't just leave this film, this series off on this. But that's okay. I like the way Rise of Skywalker ended. But yeah, this is my number 3 pick. Yeah, good film. And let's just get into number 2. So coming in at number 2, getting the silver medal is The Empire Strikes Back. Now, this is so hard. Anytime someone asks me which Star Wars film of mine is my favorite, it always comes down to this one and the next one, obviously. And honestly, I think this one's legacy is the best. It has some scenes in this that are so iconic to the Star Wars franchise. It has just like the next 3 pictures you'll see are so iconic, in my opinion, and are just amazing pictures. The sword fight between Anakin and Luke shows that Luke is not ready. He's not a Jedi, and you know what I mean. It's a good fight. The Battle of Hoth is like one of my favorite battles. I loved just watching that battle when I was a kid. The love story between Leia and Han starts to unfold, and we can see how that goes, and it's good. Boba Fett, who is like obviously, my favorite characters in this movie. Good film all around. I'm missing some big parts in this. I know I am. I really like this plot. It really shows that the rebels aren't as powerful as they were. Like, we get to really see how powerful the Empire is in this film. Like, I feel like in A New Hope, they kind of show, like, that the rebels, like, are pretty powerful, but in this film, the Empire shows, like just backhands them and shows, like, hey, motherfuckers, we're still on top. We're still on top of the food chain. So, that's, like, one of my main aspects why I like this film so much. Then, of course, how can you forget this iconic line? No, I am your father. How can you... Probably one of the biggest what the fuck's in cinema history, honestly. And that's why I say this movie's got the best legacy ever. It's because of scenes like this. That's why I love this movie so much. And not just because of the scene, like, that, but it's just a perfect film, honestly. And this next film, honestly, I think is just a tad bit better. But this one's so high because it's amazing and its legacy. So let's just get into number one. So getting the gold medal in my favorite Star Wars film of all time, Revenge of the Sith. Just, it's such a good movie. It's got so many action scenes, like aircraft fighter, like fighting scenes like that. It's got so many sword fights in it. It's got such an emotional roller coaster story. And this segment's gonna kind of be longer, but let's just start off with the sword fights. There are so many sword fights in this movie. Like, I forgot how many are actually in this movie. Like, there's General Grievous versus Obi-Wan. There's Count Dooku versus Obi-Wan and Anakin. There's Yoda versus Palpatine. There's Palpatine versus Mace Windu and the other three Jedi. There's Anakin versus Obi-Wan. There's so many. And I can't just go through them all in this video. But honestly, I'm just going to go through kind of the two big ones. And that's Anakin versus Count Dooku. And obviously Obi-Wan's there. But that's a very big important point. Because when he cuts off the hands, it like shows like, holy shit, Anakin is more powerful than he used to be, obviously. And I'm going to get into the other fight later. But dude, to this day, I honestly kind of tear up in this film. This film is sad. Like, I read a comment about, I read a comment on one post saying, imagine being in Anakin Skywalker's shoes, just killing off all the people you love, being almost fucking dead, being in this robotic suit that you have really no control of. Your lungs are completely gone. The whole universe hates you and views you as a madman. And the very first words you say are, "Where's Padme? Is she all right? Is she safe?" And just to find out she's dead. It's fucking tragic, honestly. And it is. It's unbelievably sad. He lost everything. Like, it's one of my favorite films just because of that. And it's such a good film. The fight scenes, the beginning scene is awesome. How it comes right into the Battle of Coruscant. Battle of Coruscant's awesome. Obi-Wan is just a fucking god in this movie. He's honestly my favorite in this movie. Clone Troopers look awesome in this movie. That's always why I liked it too. The vehicles look awesome. Just everything in this movie is kick-ass. Like, you can't go wrong with this movie. What else is there to this movie? Oh, yeah, obviously the final fight between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Probably, honestly, the saddest fight in this franchise. And I think it'll always be the best fight. Honestly, it beats Duel Fates. I think Duel Fates is number 2, but this fight's just amazing. It's number 1, in my opinion, and it will always stay number 1. It's so tragic just to see two brothers fighting each other, and if one fails, the fucking I can't with this film. It's such a good film. Just one of these guys fails, like if Obi-Wan fails, like who knows what's going to happen in this movie series. So that concludes this segment. So that concludes this video. If you guys enjoyed this video, just, why not give it a like? Comment down in your guys' comments, what's your guys' favorite Star Wars movie? I'm kind of curious. And explain why it's your favorite Star Wars movie. I hope that people won't be getting too mad about this video. These are all my personal opinions. Like I know like A New Hope should have probably been higher. But like what I said at the beginning, a lot of these rankings are just based off my nostalgia and which ones I grew up with, you know what I mean? So, yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Like what I said, comment down your guys' favorite Star Wars film and the reasoning behind it. I'm actually really curious. I will read through them all, and I'm being honest. I will read through them all. I'm a big Star Wars fan. Yeah, if you guys want me to do more Star Wars videos, I'm always down, like what I said. And yeah, so see you guys in the next video. Bye.